supporting. So as you come onto your back, take a moment to check in. One of them, I think, most of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is to pause and become really present in our existence, not just chasing the next great thing. So as we pause, Svadhyaya is the yogic invitation to bring the awareness inward and really become present in all things you. Notice how your body rests on the floor. Are there areas that are chatty? Those tend to sing the loudest. And areas of ease. Now peek down at your feet. Do they roll out evenly, or does one leg roll out more than the other? Which would signify that there is some tension around, more tension around one hip joint than the other. Also notice if your butt cheeks are resting evenly. Where do you feel the sacrum, these 5 fused vertebrae? Are you rolling down towards the bottom, to tailbone, or are you more towards the top? Now, ideally, we want to be somewhat centered on the sacrum, so there's a little bit of hollow under the lumbar spine, the low back. It's not flat. And the sacrum and the back of the head travels on the same plane. But if we find that when we lay down flat, our shoulders are pulling up and our chin pulls up, we may have a forward head posture. So when we practice, please support your head so you are not keeping the back of the neck in a compressed state. Now from here, let's bend up the knees and begin to bring the awareness to the breath. Breathing in and out. And just for the beginning, let your hands rest on your lower abdomen. And that is just our feedback that the breath does indeed draw down into the lower belly. And then begin to invite the breath down even further. Bring the breath down even further if available. So not straining, but an awareness of the pelvic floor. The breathing diaphragm and the pelvic diaphragm, the pelvic floor, these 3 layers of muscles, ideally travel in synchrony. Moving down on the in-breath and up on the out-breath. The breathing diaphragm contracts. That's what flattens it or brings it downward. Now, the pelvic floor does not contract on the in-breath. It is simply because of everything else moving downward, it is invited to move down with it. Mula Bandha is the engaging contraction of the pelvic floor in yoga, drawing upward, tightening the bottom of the basket. So it would make sense that we do that on the out breath because it's already moving up. So begin to harness that energy upward. But then let it relax as you breathe in. As if you could breathe right into the pelvic floor. As you exhale, inviting it up a little bit more consciously, a little bit more contraction, making a sense of the sits bones drawing together. Tailbone and pubic bone moves towards one another. And let this be an invitation to begin to do gentle arch and flatten movements. You inhale and you arch gently, low back lift a little bit more. And as you exhale, let the bandhas drawing upward, both the pelvic floor and the lower abdomen, move you into the flattening. So now the pubic bone too, you feel it moving towards the belly button. And then let that go as you breathe in, not holding on to any part of the contraction. A healthy muscle contracts and then also releases. Irritation comes from sometimes muscles just stay on contracted. Not optimal. Back and forth, easy peasy. And then letting this go. We're going to work a little bit with our hip flexors. So let's draw the right knee into the chest. Feel the front of the hips, hip groin contracting, and then gently lower the foot down. Don't plop it. Lower it delicately. Slide the leg out. Let the leg release completely, as if you could breathe into the front of your hip. And we'll slide it up again. Draw the knee in. Lower the foot to the ground. And then slide it back out. Make these movements easy. It's like you're training your body to move with ease, without force, without pain. So if you encounter pain, back off. Rehabilitate from where you are. Let go of the, what I call the Nike modality. Don't force, don't push, don't strain. Slide the leg in again. Contract the hip flexor, which is comprised of the psoas and your quadricep. One from above, one from below. It is an ingenious piece of equipment, if you ask me. Before you bend it up again, make sure you've released it completely all the way. So that may take a breath or two. If you have been sitting down a lot lately, they begin to lock up these hip flexors. Last one more time. Knee pulls in. We sense the hip flexors contract. Foot comes down and we slide out. And we let go. And slide the left leg out. And feel the left leg compared to the right. What has changed around the right hip compared to the left? Maybe nothing. It's a distinct possibility. So don't feel like, well, I screwed that one up. Now let's stand the right foot up. That's just to help with balance of the sacrum. And we're ready to start on the left. So we'll slide the left leg up, contract the hip flexors, pulling the knee to the chest. And foot down on the mat, and we slide it back out. Resting for a breath, maybe two. So the stillness is as important as the movement. Nothing can move all the time. Things needs to be able to let go and rest or move at a pace that is comfortable for you. Resist the urge just to pull the leg in again. Sense both the mobility, but also the no mobility, the stillness. Sliding in, contracting, letting go, back out again. Let's do it one more time. Don't hurry. When we hurry, we lose the connection, the feedback of what is happening. As we are that character, and I forget which one it is of James Joyce's novels, but he was always living a little bit beside himself, never quite present. And then slide the right leg out. Notice how your hips and legs are now resting on the floor. We'll bend up the left leg again. And roll your right leg in. So a pure hip movement. Don't roll from the foot, roll from the hip. And then roll the leg out. Let's do that again. Roll the leg in. And roll it out. External and internal rotation. We have more external rotation than internal. As you roll the leg out, that's the gluteus medius and the piriformis that does that. Now slide the leg up. Slide the leg up. With the knee out to the side. Knees out to the side. Slide it out long again. Roll the leg in. Rolling it back out. Slide it up again. So a little tree slide. Knee out to the side. Let's go back and forth a couple of times. Again, inviting easy mobility. So stop where you begin to do the grunt work. Now, next time you draw the knee up, lift the leg up and then let it come across your midline. That's a little piriformis stretch. And then just take the leg back again. Foot comes down. Slide it out long. So your arms are completely passive. No pulling, pushing. Roll the leg out, sliding it up again. Take the leg across. So that's a little bit of a glute maximus stretch we get there. Take the leg out. But because we're not using our hands, we're not going to overdo it. Slide the leg back out long. Roll the leg in. And again, sliding out. Take the leg across, a big circle with the knee. Now as you come across, hook your heel across your left knee and let your right knee come towards the floor. And then draw the left knee in. So a little figure four. Place the left foot down. And then draw your right knee towards your right shoulder, circling it all the way back down. So we're making the movement a little bit bigger now. Foot comes down, it rolls in, it rolls out. We draw it up again, big circle, pull it around. So Big hip mobility. Hook the heel. Release the knee towards the floor and draw the knee in. Place the left foot back down. And then like an air you're pulling back, release the right leg back out. Rolling in, rolling out. Draw the knee up, big circle. Comes around. Hook the heel. Release the knee down, pull the knee in. Releasing down. And then pull the arrow back on the bow as you circle the leg all the way back down. And then just let it relax. And let's slide the left leg out. And again. How are the two sides different now? We just lubricated the whole outer area, or the whole hip joint on the right. So maybe it feels like it's bigger, warmer, softer. Many different words to use sensations. And everybody's got different words. Now let's take the right leg, bend it up. And we'll roll the left leg in and out. Rolling again from the thigh bone, not the foot. Because the foot can go a little bit further than your thigh bone. And that's really not in your knee's best interest. Back and forth. And then roll the leg out and slide it up. Just a little slidey tree pose. Slide it back long, rolling it in, rolling it out, sliding it up again, knee out to the side. Is the mobility on your left the same as your right, or is there a big difference? That warrants a deeper look because these imbalances over time, they just breed more imbalances. Now, as you bring the knee up again, let's begin to take it across. Reach it across, you'll feel the glutes. Get a little bit of a hello. We take the knee back out, slide it out long, rolling it in, rolling it out. Slide the foot up, lift the knee, take the whole bit across. And knee back down, leg back down, slide out, slide in. So this is pure rehabilitation movement. If our range of movement, ROMs, in the professional world are diminishing, these are really good to help bring it back. Release, realign, strengthen. That's the protocol. Don't start strengthening a muscle that's already too tight, because that's just going to produce more imbalance. Please don't do that on my watch. I would have failed you. Let's do hook the heel around the knee, and then draw the knee in. Lower the foot down. Shoot the arrow back, pull the arrow back as you circle the whole leg down. So again, back off anything that's uncomfortable, painful. Just make the movement smaller. That will support you better than pushing, pulling, forcing, moving with pain. So hook the heel, draw the right knee in. Foot comes down, and then we pull the knee back, circling it around. One more time. Hook the heel. Now, couldn't you just do this all day? We have this idea that exercise has to be hard. It does not have to be hard. And then slide the right leg out again. pause. Bend up the knees. Take the hands down along sides. So the only movement we haven't done this far is extension. So bridge poses is really good for that. Lift and spread the toes. Stretch the toes forward. So commit to the inner and outer heel evenly, big toe mount, little toe mount. And now as you inhale, initiate with the glutes, squeeze your buns. And let that lift you up. And then exhale, lowering down, contraction begins to wane in the glutes. Everything relaxes. So maybe more of an inclined plank than bridge pose. Let's do it again. Inhale, squeeze, lifting up. Let's hold it for an extra breath with a little bit more squeeze on the glutes. And lowering down. Remember, strongest muscle in the body. It's not the longest, but it is the strongest. The longest would be the glorious sartorius. So I'm just going to let that one hang there. Part of the hip complex too. Let's do one more bridge. Lifting up, squeeze, 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 squeeze. When we are in hip extension, meaning the knee is behind the hip, glutes they must help out because otherwise the psoas cannot release. It's like the hamstrings and the quadricep. All right. Let's roll over onto one side and fold the blanket up. Now, if you don't have a blanket, because I know you're traveling, towels can be really good too, because we're going to be doing some stuff on our knees and the mat. Unless you have a really nice carpet, maybe just a little hot. So blankets, towels, and then the blocks, if you have them, at the top of the mat. Now in tabletop, cat and cow. So let's round as we inhale. And arch. I said that backwards, sorry. Arch on the in-breath, round on the out-breath. And when you arch around, really pay attention to that the hips are moving. That when you arch, when you inhale, you lift the tailbone, and when you breathe out, you pull the tailbone towards the floor. And that gets the complex of the lumbar spine and the sacrum well integrated. It can get really stuck here. So let it be more of a lower back event today. And then from here, let's draw back to puppy pose. Tuck the toes under and stretch the hips back. Toes under, hips back. And reach the arms forward. Spread the fingers. Thumb out down. Heel of the hands down. And then stretch fingers forward. And can you get each knuckle down of the palm? I said finger palm. Let's inhale, come up to our modified plank, cobra pose with straight arms. And exhale back. Inhaling up. And as you move into cobra pose, check in with your glutes. Glutes, are they engaging in your back bend? They should be. Close the crack. That protects your lumbar spine from overarching. Now let's inhale forward one more time. This time flip the feet so the tops of the feet are down, and then lift the knees. Sometimes we just contract without lifting. Glutes, yes, they are on. And then let's go back to downward facing dog or puppy pose or wide V child's pose. You can also do dog on a wall or a chair. Now let's wiggle our dog around a little bit. Just move it any which way you can think of it. Can you make circling motions? So don't anything big and crazy, obviously, but you're gonna get the fascia on the back body lengthened out a little bit. And you can pedal it out. Just have a little playtime with your dog here. We are not statues. We are moving, amazing mechanical things with a soul. Inhale forward to plank pose. And take the knees down again. Now walk the hands back and we are in tabletop. Take the right leg back, toes are down. And reach back through the heel. Get a little bit of a calf stretch. But at the same time, draw the abdomen in and up. And then lift the right leg so that you're lifting the leg but not the hip. Meaning pelvis stays completely neutral. God, you guys are good. Then from here, bend the knee. Bend the knee. Pull the heel towards the tush and lift the knee. Oh, we're getting a full hamstring and glute complex. Lift everything up. And do it again. So little itty bitty pumps. Pulling the foot upward. Pull the foot upward. And then lower it towards the tush. Pulling up. And straighten the leg back out. And take it down. Wag your tail. And so just a quick reminder, if your wrists are not having the best time with this, you can do this using your blocks and just place your, he said, forearms on the blocks and the wrists can hang off. You can also do this standing with a chair. So again, don't practice with pain. We must do the other side. So let's take the left leg back. And then draw the heel back a little bit more, a little bit of a calf event. And then lift the leg. Lift the leg. Bend the knee, pull the heel to the tush. And then press the foot up and then pull it in again. Lift the whole thing and pull it in again. So lifting up when you're in the highest, the bottom of the foot faces the sky. Lifting it up. I know. And let's take it back, straighten it out, and lower down. Let's wag the tail again. And let's come back to wide knee child's pose. We'll just give our wrists a little bit of a break. So wide knee child's pose, tops of the feet are down. And then lift your hands up and do hand circles. Little motions with the wrists, just circling the wrists around. The things that strengthens our wrists, that can feel a little bit more like a punishment. So don't overstay your welcome in a pose. Let's do a little grabby fingers. Like little octopus, baby octopuses. And I think we're ready for our next go. So this is also the last of this sequence here. So now with the feet, the knees hip width apart. Again, draw the abdomen in and up. So a neutral spine. And now lift your right knee out to the side. And then let it come back down without touching the floor. So you're keep a little bit more lift on the right side. Lift the leg up to the side and take it down. Lifting the knee, but not over lifting the hip. Out to the side And now pull it up towards your right shoulder and back down to the right shoulder and down. Keeping it high. And we're just going to squeeze it to the shoulder, squeeze it to the shoulder, squeeze it to the shoulder. Woo! Taking it down. Tail whack. Think of all that DW40 you're putting around your hip joint today. It is a beautiful thing. All right, setting up for the other side. Let's begin to open that swing door. Left knee goes to the side and down. Out to the side and down. And really pay attention to this is a pure hip movement. So you're not twisting the spine to lift. That's the body trying to compensate. Can you just lift the thigh, but keep the pelvis relatively neutral? Relatively neutral. It's not easy, I know. Now holding it up in the open door, and then pull the knee to the shoulder. Pull the knee up to the shoulder, and back to the starter. Well, hey, Joanne. I just saw you signed on. Pull the knee to the shoulder, and down. I don't have a picture of you, though. And now hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. So this was a movement we did on our back. But now we are switching around our gravitational forces, can you tell? And take the knee down, wagging it out. And then from here, we're going to take the right foot up. Take your hands on blocks, and then step your right foot up between your hands. And then let's stretch the hips back so that gets a little bit of a hamstring. And come forward. Lift the heart. And exhale, go back. And add a little bit of that pelvis cat and cow that we did before. So as you go back into the hamstring stretch, point the tailbone down. And as you lift the heart, let the tailbone be facing backwards a little bit. It's not going to feel as extreme. Back and forth. And then we'll stay forward, staying forward. Now look down at your right foot. If the knee has traveled past the ankle, just eke it forward. Lift the heart, lift the heart. So now we're moving the spine in. And your left gluteus maximus is on the job because that hip is an extension. So let it help out. Let there be a sense of the inner thighs hugging together. So that's Mula Bandha again, part of hip stability. Hug the hips together, hug the hips together. Doing very well indeed. And let's take the right leg back and switch it out with the left. Boom. And we start here again with our little hamstring hello. Part of the rubber band system. Quadricep, hamstrings. And we got the deep six. We got the iliotibial band. We got the psoas. There's just a lot of traffic across the whole pelvis. And things can get really congested, stuck. Next time you come forward, let's stay forward, staying forward. Lift the heart, hug the inner thighs together. Hug the inner thighs together. And release. Draw back. Take the hands to the mat, and we'll come back to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, as somebody noted after Tuesday's class, why do my sinuses just suddenly feel all better? Because this is part of the allergy therapy sequence too. And it sounds counterintuitive, I know, but it is. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Take the knees down. Walk the hands back for camel pose. So come onto your knees. Take your hands to your hips / lower pelvis and draw the shoulders up and down the back, elbows towards one another. Now, as you inhale, lengthen up through the whole front body and then leaning back with the top of the head, big arch. You don't have to go very far. Lift the heart, lift the heart, lift the heart. And let's come all the way back up again. Take the hands to the floor, walk forward, find the blocks again, because we got one more little lunge event. So we'll step the right foot up. Step the right foot up. Creep the toes forward. So just use high blocks. When in doubt, I choose my blocks high, because that way my spine can be long. Unless you're short of stature. What we want, remember, spine is king, spine is king. Bend up the left knee. Bend up the left leg. Look over your right shoulder. Is it that? Reach your right arm back. And maybe you can give yourself a little foot handshake. Maybe you're just going to be waving. Hi, nice to meet you. How you doing? And release with control. Take the right back, left forward. Bending up, right leg. Bending it up. Your hamstring loves this, can you tell? Looking over your left shoulder. There you are. Left hand reaches back. Wave or give yourself a little handshake. Nice to meet you. How you doing? And then with control, letting go. Tuck the back toes under, a little butt, and step up to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Remember your osteoporosis recommendations. If that applies to you, keep the spine long. And then bend the knees. Sweep the arms out and up as you come up into standing. And we have arrived at Natarasana. So let's take the blanket off the mat. Now this is a balanced pose, so you might like to go to a wall or use a chair. Now, take one hand to the wall. So I'm having my right hand on the wall, and I'm going to be bending my left leg up. Now, it's a little easier to catch the foot when I take the knee up in front, because I tell the hip flexors, it's okay, it's not going to hurt. So they engage, and I catch my ankle. Now I can pull it back behind me. Draw the knees so they are side by side. So your standing leg is a mountain pose. Your pelvis, spine, it's also a mountain pose. You can keep the hand on the wall. You can creep it up. You can also take it to the sky. Take it to the sky. Now yours is a straight extension, meaning invite the knee behind. Invite the knee back. Reach up, reach up, reach. Notice that the knee begins to track out to the side. Pull it back into the better alignment, not jamming the outer hip. And then we'll take the arm down, release the leg. And all I like to do is just do a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle after this, because things get kind of stuck. And we should do the other side. Bend the knee up, catch the ankle. And so get stable here first. Get this part of the pose well set up. Make sure that the knees are together and that your standing leg is in mountain pose. 4 corners of the foot well grounded, not hyperextending that knee. Hip hugging in, we talked about that last week. This is part of a hip strengthening pose. And then we can, if all of that checks out, maybe take the other hand to the sky. And then maybe begin to take the knee further back. So we're moving into a standing bow pose, half bow pose. Kick the foot into the hand, kick the foot into the hand. And then slowly release. And that is another wiggle, right? Yeah. And from here, now let's come on to the belly. And we're just going to go right for Sphinx pose. Because we think of back bends as heart openers, but really they are hip openers. So we have to make sure that all these parts are behaving in a way that is healthy for our bodies. So notice here in Sphinx pose, as you begin to make it a little bit more active, draw the tailbone towards the heels. Draw the tailbone towards the heels. So a sense of the hips pressing down. And if this is really irritating to your pubic bone, laying on a blanket sometimes feels better. So everybody's anatomy is different. Now give your buns a little squeeze again that protects the low back from just being collapsed. If back bends causes low back pain, are you using the glutes as brakes? We lengthen the heart forward and lifting up. Now, if you bend both knees here, you're kind of sort of in camel pose. Can you tell? Where we were just at before. So all back bends are kind of sort of the same. Now let's release the legs down. And then swing the left forearm in so that it is now parallel to the front edge of your mat. Keep your back bend, so meaning lift the heart, bend your right leg. And you look back, there it is. Right hand goes back and catches top of the foot or the ankle. Draw the shoulder blades down. So if the thumb is pointing up on your right hand, that helps create that opening of the shoulder a little bit better. Kick the foot into the hand, kick the foot into the hand. And then let go without ricochet. And let's switch this out. Right arm in front, bend up the left leg, keep the back bend and reach back. Is there a foot available? It is often because we're lacking the back bend to catch, I am looking, but also the flexibility to bring the heel in. And yes, straps are great, but sometimes straps can make us think we are more flexible than we are. We really want the flexibility to be available without having to rely on a lot of external resources. Kick the foot into the hand, kick the foot into the hand. And slowly release. So being mindful that your knees do not travel out to the side to catch them. That they stay parallel. The thigh bones are still parallel to one another. Well, I think we're ready for the big one. So bend up both knees again. And then here you can reach one hand back, A little give as you catch with the other. Knees stay together. And then inhale, press the feet back. So you can also practice the Sphinx pose, the bent knee Sphinx pose, if the knees are not readily available. Now kick the feet into the hands, kick the feet into the hands, shoulder blades are drawing together and down the back. So Sally, I would do Sphinx pose for you. I think you're just gonna get more out of that pose. And just bending up the knees instead, or keep them straight if that feels better on your knee. Lift the thighs, lift the thighs, lift the thighs, lift the thighs. And release down. Let the legs relax, crocodile pose. So take one hand on top of the other, rest your forehead on your forearms. Breathe. If there is some tension in the low back, swoosh the hips from side to side. Just swoosh, 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 swoosh. Yep, we should do this again. So let's align the legs, bend up the knees, tailbone towards the knees. Yep, glutes on. Reach one arm back, reach the other arm back. Draw the shoulder blades together and down the back, down the back. And then lift. So feet are kicking into the hands, that gets the heart up, and then we lift the thighs, we lift the thighs. Now you might be able to just rock back and forth, just massage the whole front body. Not side to side, back and forth. And release. Crocodile. Swoosh, swoosh the hips, swoosh, swoosh. Breathing into the lumbar spine, breathing into the sacrum. And then, with the least amount of effort as possible, let's roll over onto the back. Draw the knees in. And let them fall open, like the pages in a book. Your book, very special book. And then maybe, so the knees are pulling up towards the shoulders, so now you're holding on to the shins. And maybe here you can either hook the forearms behind the knees. And then if the feet can lift up towards the sky, but keep the knees down. So it's more important to keep the knees low and in the armpits, and then we lift the feet from here. Keep the legs super wide, super wide. And then maybe catch heels. So choose the one that's the easiest. That's where you're going to get the most benefit. I know. It's not the methods that we normally hear, but it is in this practice. Rocking gently from side to side. And now let's tuck the knees together. Cross the right leg over the left. Crossing the right leg over all the way across. Yeah, so it's like a supine eagle. Supta Garudasana, we'll call this. And here, lift your head and shoulders and then catch maybe the ankles, maybe the feet, the outer edges of the feet. So I'm holding the bottom of my feet, not the tops. And then lower back down. pluming the tail feathers. Let your pelvis widen. Breathing in and out. And then let's switch. Cross the other way. Lift up and catch. Bottom of the feet, opposite hand to foot. And breathe. Again, let your tail feathers plume broadly. Breathing in and out. And then relaxing the legs. Hug the knees in again. And relax the feet towards the floor. And roll over to one side. So for the last pose, if you have blankets or towels, pillows, I invite you to take, we're just going to create a little bit of height. So 2 blankets, I'm going to grab my other one over here. Fold it in the hot dog fold. So stacking them and then place them on the mat. So again, you can use pillows, couch cushions. You just want a little bit of height. And this is for Supta Sukhasana. So cross-legged, reclined. So I'm going to cross my legs, but with a little bit of support under the shins. It makes it a little bit more accessible. And then here, bringing your thumb to your index finger and middle finger, Dhyana Mudra. Dhyana Vayu Mudra. This is the mudra that diffuses, spreads. So now we invite the benefits of the practice, meaning this increased circulation of all things to manifest into every cell in the body. Take 3 more breaths and then switch the cross of your legs. So that that other side also receives the benefit of the practice. Breathing in and out. Sensing the aliveness of pulsation throughout your body. Vitality. Wellness. And now just slowly straighten the legs and let them rest on the blanket support or the pillows or whatever you grabbed onto. You can keep holding the mudra if it's comfortable, or just let your hands relax. Letting go of all effort. Invite stillness. And with that stillness, invite ease in your body, in your mind, and in your heart space. As you gently begin to deepen your breath, wiggling fingers and toes, keep this ease, sense of ease and quietness within. Bend up your knees, rock from side to side. Rolling all the way over onto one side. And use your arms and hands to press up into a comfortable seated posture. We'll bring the palms together. Recently, we seem to have experienced a great deal of unrest and violence in our communities. The yoga practice asks us to look within what role we may be playing in that. To pray for wellness, Om Shanti 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 Om, is the mantra that invites peace and ease. So we'll close with that today. We'll start with 2 Oms, and then Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om to close. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Om. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart. Pause here in the stillness, the joy and the light, always present. to gaze at. Namaste.